December 4th, 1942. A train pulled into Fort Huachuca, Arizona, carrying nearly 200 black women who were about to make military history. According to historical records from the National Archives, the 32nd and 33rd Women's Auxiliary Army Companies arrived at what was then the largest black military installation in America. They weren't just soldiers, they were pioneers. These were black women who had completed 6 weeks of intensive training at Fort Des Moines, Iowa, the first class of black women officers to ever graduate from the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps. Their names, Irma Jackson Cayton, Vera Ann Harrison, Frances Alexander, Violet Askins, Natalie Donaldson, Mary Kearney, and Corey Sherrard, should be carved into the history books. Fort Huachuca was no ordinary post. According to the National WWII Museum, it housed over 10,000 soldiers from the U.S. 93rd Infantry Division, the first all-black division formed during World War II. When the WAACs arrived, the entire post stood in formation to welcome them. What they faced next would test everything they believed about their country. Here's what happened. These highly educated, rigorously trained officers and enlisted women were assigned to perform clerical and administrative work as stenographers, typists, switchboard operators, and messengers. They relieved the men of the 93rd Infantry to undergo intensive field training in the Arizona desert. That was their assignment. That was their mission. That was how they served. But the world wasn't ready to accept them. According to the Irma Cayton Wirtz papers at the Chicago Public Library, African-American personnel at Fort Huachuca called the post the plantation because the commander was a Southern-born segregationist. Segregation existed at every level. These college-educated women, trained in specialized fields like hospital lab work, water and sewage analysis, photography, bookkeeping, were instead relegated to kitchen work and scrubbing quarters. Yet they refused to be broken. Irma Jackson Cayton, commanding officer of the 32nd Company, earned the highest efficiency ratings on the entire military base. According to military records, she conducted such superior work that her unit became the standard by which all other companies were measured. When she discovered that highly trained WAACs and WAACs weren't being assigned appropriate positions, she did something unprecedented for a black woman in uniform in 1943. She sidestepped protocol and requested an official investigation from WAAC headquarters directly. This is the spirit that defined these women. Despite everything, despite the discrimination, despite the double standards, they would not accept less than excellence. One of their contemporary leaders, Major Charity Adams, captured this conviction in a statement that belongs on every wall of every military installation in America. According to the National WWII Museum, despite facing segregation at every turn, Adams stated, "I was determined to see that any troops I commanded would have every opportunity that was afforded others." Let those words sink in. Not anger, not bitterness, determination, resolve, a commitment to their mission and their sisters in uniform, regardless of how the system tried to diminish them. The 32nd and 33rd Companies worked until late 1945, when they were finally disbanded. But their impact was far from over. Many of these officers, including some of the 7 women who commanded those companies, would be reassigned to other military installations across the United States. Some would deploy overseas with the legendary 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion in Europe. These women performed their duties with excellence. They supported the war effort with professionalism. They endured segregation and discrimination without abandoning their commitment to service. And their achievement? According to the Arizona DR historical marker established in 2024, they freed a man to fight. That's the real story of Fort Huachuca's black WAACs. Not victims, not symbols, but soldiers who understood that their service meant something greater than the system trying to contain them. Now I need to ask you something. Did your history class ever tell you about the 32nd and 33rd Companies? Did you know that on December 4, 1942, Black women arrived at the largest black military installation in America and transformed it through sheer excellence and unbreakable determination? If you're sitting there thinking, I had no idea, that's exactly why we're doing this. Comment below and tell me, what shocked you most about these women? Was it that they arrived with 7 black female officers? Was it the excellence they maintained despite the discrimination? Or was it the fact that nobody taught you this? Like this video. Share it with someone who needs to know that when America tried to hold these women back, they didn't fight back with anger. They fought back with excellence. Subscribe to Ikemefuna History TV. Every week, we uncover the stories that changed America. The women who refused to be second-class citizens. The men who broke barriers. The resistance that forced this nation to evolve. These aren't stories of victims. These are stories of warriors. The 32nd and 33rd Companies deserve to be remembered. Charity Adams' determination deserves to be studied. Irma Jackson Cayton's courage deserves to be celebrated. Make sure you're the one who remembers. Make sure you're the one who tells their story.